State out of Wichita Falls, and Incarnate Word out of San Antonio. North Texas has mentioned Abilene Christian, Wayward Baptist, and Texas A&M Commerce also in this event. And we're going to have our first exchange. And for the leader of Oklahoma State, Danielle Coleman, will be now running the quarter.
3:28.7 unofficially for 1,200 meters in this race. Just if you're not familiar with the metric distance, it's essentially 3/4 of a mile. Here's the 400-meter leg, Paul.
And much like the sprint medley, of course, you can have a huge lead, but a lot can happen because you've got, unlike in the sprint medley, an 800 meters to close. You've got 1,600 meters to close, so that's a lot of meters and a lot of time for somebody who seemingly is well off the pace to get back in the mix, much like BYU did to get second place and, win it in the men's medley.
This event is often never over until it is over.
Oklahoma State, Texas, UNLV, Kansas, and TCU right now, and Oklahoma State running exceptionally well. Oklahoma State Savannah Camacho will run 800 meters now, and she'll get the baton with about a 20-meter lead.
400-meter runner can open up your lead, but it's not going to win the race for you.
Kind of a placeholder, Dwight, in this particular medley?
I think so. I mean, it's a great leg to have in this, and we love the distance medley relay. I'd love to see it in the Olympics, to be quite honest with you.
Sure.
But it all comes down to your 1,600-meter leg. If you've got a killer closer, it really almost doesn't matter how far you get behind in the first three legs. If you've got somebody who can go out there and run 351, 352.
But very few people can do that.
Absolutely not in college, sir.
Right.
You made a really interesting point, Dwight. Wouldn't it be nice to see this in the Olympic Games? And wouldn't it also be very interesting to see men and women racing together in a relay? I think that would really be interesting.
I think co-ed relay running is a great idea. It would really bring in a lot more fans, and no restrictions on who gets to put where.
Exactly.
Pick it.
Tactics would be so interesting indeed, and tactics and just speed aside, helping Oklahoma State right now, and they've got extending the lead here with one more lap to go for Oklahoma State Savannah Camacho as she is running the 800 meters. Oklahoma State followed now by TCU, and it's the same group: UNLV, Texas, Kansas, and Texas A&M, all there in pursuit.
Well, head coach Dave Smith and his assistant Mason Cathy certainly have these women running well, and they're clear of the field at this point.
Ingeborg Lovens will run the 1,600 meters as an anchor. Kansas coming up, passing LSU. Baylor getting in the mix as well. Texas there with Texas A&M. A little jostling. The pack of about 7 runners now about 40 meters behind the runner again, Savannah Camacho from Oklahoma State. Very comfortable lead.
Coming up to the 1,600-meter leg, which is within about 4 steps of a full mile. If 1,600 meters may not register with you, track fans would certainly know that, but if you're a mom, dad, cousin, friend watching, you may not, but it's just about a mile.
And to the anchor and underway, the baton is passed. It's probably about a 3.5, 4-second lead for Oklahoma State right now as we're in the 1,600-meter final leg. Oklahoma State has been in the lead since the opening of this. Again, it was 1,200 meters, followed by 4, followed by 8, and now the 1,600 meters. And it's UNLV starting to make a really nice move and looking solid and concentrated. Kansas there, along with Baylor, Texas A&M, and Texas make up the top 6. Boy, the big lead for Oklahoma State has been cut in half, and we've only run about 280 meters of this 1,600-meter final leg. We've got ourselves a race.
And there are plenty of opportunities for the athletes in this little group of 4 to work themselves up, providing the Oklahoma State runner has gone out maybe a little too fast. I think the UNLV runner certainly has gone out a little bit too fast to try to close this gap down. I'm not going to give up on Texas A&M. Hillary Montgomery is a pretty seasoned runner back there, well within herself, and that is not an unclosable gap.
69 seconds for that 400.